Good morning. We are going to today learn the Rambam, Perek Yud in Hilchos Brachos, Halacha of Gimel, a oft forgotten halacha. Why? We can discuss. Well, but the fact of the matter is it's a halacha. We'll see. So the Rambam says, "Anichnas lebeis hamedrash," one who goes in to learn in a beis hamedrash. Omer, he says, "Yehi rotzon l'fanecha." May it be the will of Hashem. Hashem Elikai shlei koshel b'dvar halacha. I should not make mistakes in dvar halacha. He gives examples. Shlei ma'al tohar tomei val tomei tohar. I shouldn't say something that's pure, that it is impure, or reverse. Mutter also not something that is permissible. I should say it's not permissible. Interesting. No. Permissible, can't say it's not. You shouldn't say it's not. Mutter, and reverse. And I shouldn't make a mistake, and my friends will be happy with my mistake. And the reverse also. My friends make a mistake and I'll be happy with them. That's the Tefilah. Now, where does this come from? A Gemara in Brachos. In the Mishnah in Brachos, it says, from the Chunya ben Akona would daven when he went into Mispalel, Hoye Mispalel, B'knisosel, Beis HaMedrash, U'b'tziyosei, Tefilah K'tzora. Short Tefilah. Amrulay, student said to him, well, what place does this Tefilah have? Which is a strange question, and as we'll see soon. Amalahem, he said to them, B'knisosi ani mispalel. When I go in, he gives it a synopsis. When I go in, I mispalel that no terrible thing should happen through me. When I go out, I praise Hashem, give thanks for my portion, my lot. In the Gemara there, it says, and the Gemara goes through and says, what does he say? He says he thanks Hashem for having been in the shul, being a besmedrash, giving my portion of besmedrash. I get up, they get up, I get up for the inventory, they get up for a waste of time. I would struggle, I toil, they toil, I toil and get rewarded, they go and get nothing. I get Elam Haba, they get nothing. Okay. That's basically the messages. In the Sefer Meiser Rekeach, he takes note and says the Rambam wasn't clear whether this is a requirement or this is just an optional item. He didn't tell us clearly. What do we look? Oh, is this optional or required? So he says, all right. So he says that yeah. So he says that and he gives he points us to the famous there were Perish Mishnayis and Brachos and that Indian, when the Perish Mishnayis, the Rambam. There the Rambam says clearly Shnei Tefilah say l'chayva. You read the whole piece, it says that it's chayva. When you go in, I'll call me shenichnas lebeis hamedrash l'umid. It's a chayv requirement. The Rav Bartanura Shnei Tefilah salolu chayv al kol ish v'ish lama. It's a requirement. Now the Meiri gives it a little taste, and he says, "Hayre, he taught us or he's directing us that a person should always come up with prayers. Al kol davar shuraya ba'atzmai shutzarach by le'ezer elikim. Anything he needs help from God. And Oz, Yasmin Machshatu Vavedas Hashem, he will always be focused on serving God without any pirud. And he says that's what he's saying, that he davened when he went in, and he thanked Hashem when he came out. Now, is this a chayv or not? According to the Miri, I'm not so sure. However, let's see the other side. The Shittim Kebetzas brings from a famous Ritva, everybody quotes this Ritva. So he says, first of all, what's it doing here? We're talking about davening Shachris, Mincha, Ma'ariv. Where does this come in? Says, since we're talking about Tefilah, he brings this Tefilah. And he writes, Vashmina, that teaches us, the Misha writes, if you want it, you can say it. Piskei Riyaz says, Yesh Chochem Megidei HaMishneh, one of the great sages of the Mishnah that would daven this. So it seems to them clearly that they hold that there's no chiyuv. So we have two schools, chiyuv, no chiyuv. The Chidah in the Sefer Pesach Hanayim writes, why does the Gemara go through his whole arichas? He said he davened and they asked him Mamokim L'Tfilazu and the whole discussion. So first of all, he said, yeah, that's his question. And then you say it straight. I'm screaming at Kana with him smile this when he went in. So he says, because he wanted to show you the humility of the Chiyuv Akam, even though it's a good thing. But he didn't want to tell his friends to do it unless they asked him. Yes, I'll tell you what I do. Or it's trying to tell you that they agreed with him. And then he says, is to tell you the lav chiyuvahu. No requirement. They even weren't, he would go tell them. I mean, if he's required to do it, he doesn't tell you. I want to note that I learned my Rebel Salvechik, a goyin Rebel Salvechik, in Brisk. And every time he walked into shir, you saw his lips moving. And the understanding was, what the other students said, was that he would be saying this tefillah. I haven't seen it by most. It could be they do it before. It's not all right. But that's what he used to, that's what I saw. Now, on the way out, I don't know that I saw him doing it, because most likely it would happen is that he was bombarded by some students trying to get his attention to ask questions. There's a tshuva sefer by Yosha Vayom that brings from the Arizal that you got to do it, and he says Reisi L'may Rizal when he started learning Torah with the Chavei Yeshiva, even when it was in his house, and he would say it, but he didn't see him doing it on the way out. So he would say, because he never finished, and you'll take a see soon the Alter Rebbe. Shulchan is the only one that I saw clearly addressing. He says, why don't we do it today? Because we don't pass in shilas from our learning. Most of our learning is academic, is learning. Not then the Alter Rebbe says, required. It's just a tzorich litnei dal chelk. And he writes that so the Alter Rebbe, based on the Alter Rebbe, comes out a bunch of things. First of all, you have to, when you go in, you have to thank when you go out. Even if you're learning B'yichidus, he says you have to do it. Specifically, if you're learning for Hira, for Halacha, you should say it. When you're learning Mechabura, then you add about not being happy with their mistakes and you being and they're being happy with your mistake. Also, when you learn B'yichidus, you have to thank. When do you thank? At the end of the day, when you finish learning. Now, Now let's understand the meaning of ma mokim tefillah zu. So there are various approaches. The Gra in Shnei Elio writes, "Ma mokai" meant what? What's the time for this? Mazman. When should you say this? Which is not like Rashi that says simple. Mativa. What is this tefillah about? Which l'cheir is the poshut shot? Because as we'll see, and Sefer that I found, Shoshanim LeDavid, Kosa writes, Kiva Sheinat Misbal Shonesa, this place, since you're not davening Shonesa, why are you davening this? You're supposed to daven the place where you daven. It doesn't belong here, it belongs to the basic Knesset. There's another, the Sefer Tesis Rishon Litzion, which is on the Mishnayos. He says, since you're supposed to daven Makan Kavua, it's not the normal place of davening. It's similar to the Shoshanim Daven. Obviously, the simple shot is like Rashi. And they saw that he was davening. He's saying, it could be, it fits to the story that I told you before, that he was saying things under his breath. And then they asked him. Perhaps you can say, and I think this will open up, that they were saying, it's a B'chudash Tefilah. What is this all about? Now let's go through it. I want to just note that the Rambam does not write Tefilah. He writes Oimer. Say Oimer. The Mishnah says Mispalel, and everything else that everywhere else is brought down as Mispalel. Chaber, the Alter Rebbe, wherever you look. Now, in addition, I want to, if you analyze the Rambam, you see something phenomenal. Perek Yud starts off with the following phrase. Brachos acheres udvarim acherim tiknu chacham derech shrach leidam. So what is the dvarim acherim? What is the dvarim acherim? So the answer is as follows. Till Halacha Yudches, he spoke about the brachos acheres. Yeah, brachos. Halacha Yudches, he talks about the dvarim acherim. Now, not one of those, including Tefilah Haderech, and including things that we call Tefilah, he does not refer to Tefilah. He keeps saying Oimer. And now Halacha Chavav, the end of this Perek, he writes, Klal Eishal Davar, La'olam Yitzak Odam Ala Osud Lava, V'Yivakish Rachmi, V'Yitnei Masham. Where did he get this? Lashon of Yitzak. He doesn't use the word Tefilah, Tzaika. Okay, now the Gemara uses a losh, but it's not so posh. But the Gemara uses a losh. Nowhere does it say this line. Yitzak Adam Alasim Vivakish Racham. Hatzoyik l'sha'ava reza Tefilah shav. If you're tzoyik on the shava, it's a Tefilah shav. Now the Gemara uses a losh of Tefilah shav, but the losh calls it tzoyik. So the Rambam may translate reverse, and then that's what they bring down the sword. So, but that's the lashon Yitzhak. There it makes sense because you tell you l'shava, you're not davening l'shava. I'm trying to change, but perhaps the Rambam established in Hilchos Tefilah Perek Aleph what is Tefilah. First he says mitzvah l'spalel kol yet, and then he says what's the chiyuv. Mitzvah is mischane u'mispalel b'chol yom u'magid shvacha shakadosh baruch Hu. So he tells the magid shvacha akach she'el tzracha, and then you thank. So there's a structure to Tefilah. Tefilah has a structure. So that's why from Halacha Yudtes and on, he doesn't call it Tefilah. There's not a structure of Tefilah. This is Saika. I'm screaming out. Oh, so now we can understand. Well, they asked him, it's not really a Tefilah. What is going on here? But the shaila is, they could have asked him on any other things that he did when he got on a trip and he said the Tefilah Haderech. But really, this question is stronger here because if you look at the Mishnah is talking about Tefilah HaShachar, talks about a whole bunch of halachas regarding Tefilah, then suddenly this, and then goes back to Tefilah. Kol Yom Maspalan Shrein Esrei, and then Tefilah Ketzar and all that. So that's would sound like we're dealing with Tefilah. It's talking in the middle of the halachas on Tefilah. So therefore, it makes sense. Ma Makal Tefilah Zu. But that's not done to explain to students. The students weren't there when Rebbe was Masad in the Mishnah. So the answer, it could be. This Tefilah is really strange. What do you mean Masfal? Yisrael on learning Torah. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to learn Torah. You're supposed to be careful when you learn Torah. What's Shaykh Tefilah in this? Paket. You guide him at Sarsi. The Gemara says Megillah. You guide them. You guide them at Sarsi. All time. You guide them at Sarsi time. So they asked him, what are you being tzayik when you go in to learn? Was kommt dort Tefilah when you're going in to learn? So he answered, I'm not being misfollowed just for the learning. I'm being misfollowed shli'eret hakol al yodi. And what is the Haidah? Yeah, I'm thanking David for the fact that I was given this opportunity, because you don't know, you need to have an opportunity to do this. So again, there's a place to the Tefilah, and that's what the Ma Makal Tefilah Zu, and that would explain this. What's going on here? Anyway, Zayt Gesund Stark Katzlocha.